Hi everyone, I'm Maddie and this is Crocheted, where everything is crocheted with a cross. Now I have a mission. I started it in the last video. This is a hat, the helmet of salvation, the chest plate of righteousness, the belt of truth. So this is more like a jacket, but it goes over and looks like a vest. So I have the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, and the belt of truth. Now, the other part of the armour of God is the sword of the Spirit, the shield of faith, and the feet of readiness. Now, I only have a week and a half to make these, and it's a sword, a shield, and socks. Now, for point of reference, I have made a sword before. It was great. I need to rethink how to do it because I'll get to that in a minute. I have never made socks before as a crocheter. I've crocheted for almost 3 years. I've never made socks, so that will be something new. But anyway, let's get started. I have a sword, a shield, and some socks to make. Let's get going. So I'm not quite sure how to keep them attached because those three are on the hook, on the hanger, but I'm trying to write with a crochet hook. How am I going to keep the sword, the shield, and the socks with that? We'll figure that out. But right now, let's have a look how I can make this sword. So I was getting into how I did it. So first I had one long bit of the body of the sword, and then I attached the handles. Now, it worked for what I was using it for. I was teaching children what it meant to be knighted, and I was knighting the children, which they found amazing. However, I don't want to do that this time. So I need to think of a way that I can make the hilt without having to attach them at the end. So obviously I'll start with a magic ring, each part. And I think what I'll have to do is I'll have to build the two sides. Okay, let's do this so it doesn't look so conspicuous. So let's go hilt, handle, and then the blade, which is obviously not sharp because it's crochet. So this will be gold and this will be grey. Now I'm not entirely sure how to do this. So this is my diagram, very loose. So I've got the gold hilt and handle, and then I've got grey for the blade. However, I don't know how to do this. It might just be the case of I start and we'll see how it goes. I'll keep this here so I can reference it. I don't think I'll need it. That was just to show you what I'm planning to do. Right, guess I'm gonna start going. So here's my gold. Let's get going. Forget how to make a magic circle. I do know. Make them every single day. Okay, so I have done 12 double crochets into the magic ring, and obviously I've realised I had to make the side bits before I make the main bit and attach them together. So this is going to be a side. I have made the handle. I think it looks really cute. I mean, seems not perfect, but no one else will be looking at that. They'll just be, I made a sword. Anyway, so I've done the first row of grey, and then I need to make it bigger and stuff it as I go. Let's do it. Okay, it is currently, I have just realised, hang on, let me pause. Let's try that again. So I am currently on 24 whips, which I think is quite a lot lower than before. I've obviously finished the belt, the helmet, the chest plate. I got a bit bored of the sword, which is shocking. But I then finished this blanket, which isn't that big, but it's got some yarn out of my stash and it's very thick. So yeah, it's the next day and I am now back to crocheting the sword. Now, oh, it looks so good. I actually showed my husband, I did have to attach them in the end. I actually showed my husband and he was like, oh, that's really good. As if like surprised. I have crocheted a sword before and he does know that. So I think he's kind of still unaware of like how cool crochet is. I mean, it's up to him, isn't it, whether he decides to. But at the very least, he needs to not be surprised when I make things that look good. Or, you know, when I make things that he didn't expect I could make out of crochet. It does bug me a little bit. We're like, oh, thanks. You shouldn't be surprised that I can make a sword. But anyway, let's continue making the sword. Let's get to it. Okay, so I'm going to start closing it up. Obviously, need to stuff it. And then I've realised, like, whoops, didn't mean to drop that. In order to, like, keep it on the hook, on the hanger, I could make a little strap. It'll be quite easy to do. And if I use that strap, I'd then be able to keep it on the hanger with all the other 3 pieces. Now, I realised I could do that with the shield because it has the arm holders, but I don't know how to do that with the slippers. I have to have a think of a way to keep it all together. Or I could make a bag for it in... Oh, I'm getting excited now. Because I put it all on a hanger, but if I make it into a bag... Oh, why don't I come up with these things? I'm trying to get my whips down, not add to them. But 24 is still a good number. It's going down quite a lot over the Easter. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to continue closing it up. Oh, look. Oh, it's so cool. I love it. I love my sword, and I think I'm not right. I will continue to make the strap so it can just hang on the hook. Oh, but hang on, if I'm going to make a bag with the leftover yarn, why would I make a strap? I'm going to do that at the end. What I'll do is I will decide whether I make the bag with the leftovers or... because I think it would be easier because there aren't places with hooks. It'll be easier to store it in a bag because it's all foldable. I'll make that decision later, but for now, sword is done, and that will make me down to 23 whips. And now to make the shield. Now I'm going to move to show you my plan for the shield. Okay, I just found, right, I need to actually try and look at the camera because I'm looking at, okay, if I look at the little dot, I'm looking at you. I found a really cool thing, my computer flips and I can use it as an iPad. I forgot about it, but it means I can turn it over and I can see what you see so that I, show you what I need to show you. So I have got my shield. So my husband, originally I was a little bit silly. I decided I was going to make like a really intricate shield that had the little dips at the front. But my husband made a very valid point that a shield doesn't need to be like that. It can be round or it could be a rectangle. So he drew this for me. So I've got, the front and then the back with the straps and then the front and the back with straps. And I thought, I could do a circular one. But then he said, oh, couldn't you have a cross in the middle because it's a shield of faith? Well, I wouldn't necessarily be able to do that with the circular one, but I could with a rectangular one. So I then made this, which what I'm going to do is I'm going to have granny squares. So I'll have white granny squares, tiny granny squares that I'll then sew together to make the front of the shield. And then the back of the shield will be grey. And then obviously we'll have the handles on it. I've got this, which is some cardboard from a package we got. And it's perfect. So basically, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to make the back first. Now, the reason I'm going to do that is because I want to know how big it needs to be. I've also realised if I do a granny square on the back, that it'll have to be double crochet the whole way. Yeah. It's a single crochet. I'm not going to do that, I'm going to do double crochet. But I also need to make the handles, so let's start by making the handles. Let's start by eating some chocolate. Okay, so I have, to do this. I've done my straps and I've now started working on the back of the shield. I'm also watching a tutorial on how to make slippers, to do some research. So I've decided I'm not going to make socks, I'm going to make slippers. And again, that was a husband's idea. When you think of something for so long, you kind of, just get so caught up in the minutiae that you don't step back and think, oh, hang on, how could I fix this? Make slippers instead. So that's what I'm going to do. Hello, it has been a few days and I've got far further than the handles. So these are the handles. I then crocheted the back portion. So this is the back strap where children will hold it. I've then started the front, and by started I mean I've almost finished. So here it is. It's my cross on the front. So the idea being that this cardboard will go in between, and I'm at the point where I'm starting to attach it to the back. So I'm putting the shield together. It will be done today, and that will be... Oh, I'm so excited. I still have the slippers to do, but I might take a break, do something else, and come back to it. Because I now have a week to make a pair of slippers. So, this is exciting stuff. Did it. Look at my shield. I'm so proud of it. It took me, I want to say 3 days. We used it at the Sunday school and it went really well. It will get more use out of it. I'm sure that we'll teach the Armour of God or anything to do with knights, really. I'm sure we'll do that again. And I'm just so proud of it. I'm so happy. It took me ages. Well, I didn't, but it felt like it. But I've now decided that instead of making a strap for it all to go onto a hanger, I will make a bag. And so I have started the bag. So let me put that to the side. Which side is it coming on? So where's that side? Okay, so here is the front part. I'm going to make a drawstring pouch, essentially. And here is the front. It's still not big enough to cover all of the armour. It is 5 pieces, and they're relatively big. So I'm going to get going on this. Okay, so update. It's been a day, I think. And I've now got, so this is 2 panels. They are 1, 2, 3. So I've just got to finish this side and then I've attached them. I've got a bit of an issue where the yarn is just destroyed. So I don't know whether I will stop and sort it out before I do the straps. I feel like I should, because I'm going to get really frustrated when I try and unwind that when it's attached. Maybe because I was wanting to have it all one piece, it's like structurally integral. But if I crochet it onto it rather than sew it on, it should be stable. Yeah, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this side, cut it off, and then sort out that hopefully this will be done so that I can take the Armour of God in my little bag tomorrow, Sunday. But it's crunch time. I'm busy tomorrow. I'm not going to crochet tomorrow. So, got to get this done tonight. Let's go. The biggest ball of yarn I've ever wound. That took 20 minutes just to untangle it and sort it out. Now, I was worried there wouldn't be enough yarn for the straps, but it's definitely enough yarn for the straps. So I'm not going to bother weaving my ends in yet until I've done the straps. But I've obviously got a few ends. But here is my bag. It's obviously the same both sides. Originally I was going to make it into a pouch where you can do the straps, but I don't really want to do that because it's going to have this in it and I want to protect this at all costs because it's me. Still really proud of it, my Armour of God. Even though I made it like last week. Right, it wasn't last week, I think. Yes, I finished it a week ago. Wow. Why is it that I took a week to make a sword, a shield, a chest plate, a helmet, and a belt? Great, but I also took a week to make this. And, I'm grateful that I have this bag, but it shouldn't have taken that long. Anyway, right, I'm going to start attaching or making the straps. My kind of plan is do granny strips. I don't know what you call them. Granny rows. Row 4, I think. So that it attaches in the corner and in the corner over here, basically. Because I don't want to do it a strap on each side. So that is what I will do. And I think 1, 2. I could do one there. I'll have a fit. I'll see. First, I need to attach some yarn to my head. Alright, let's get going. It is the next day and I finally completed it. Here is my bag. Originally I was going to keep it separate, as in just 4 clusters of granny stripes, but I've actually crocheted around the edges so it's more sturdy. I'm really proud of it. It's got my sword and my shield and the chest plate of righteousness and the helmet of salvation. Oh, I'm just so proud of it. I'm so excited to take it to church tomorrow. There you go. All done. See you in the next one.